This solo starts off on the 12th fret of the D string with your first finger, and we're going to play that note. But as soon as we played it, we're going to hammer your third finger down onto 14 of the D string, like this. Okay, and when we've done that, as soon as we've done that, we're going to play the G note on the 12th fret of the G string. So that's how the solo starts with this. Okay, once you've done that though, you're going to do a bend up and down into a pull-off. This happens quite a bit in this solo where we're going to play the 14th fret of the G string. We're going to push it up, let it come back down, and then pull off. So you're picking once, but you're getting that bend up, down, pull off. And as soon as you've done that, you're going to play the 14th fret of the D string, and then you're going to come back to the G string and do a hammer on from 12 to 14. Okay, so far we've got this. Okay, then after that, we're going to do a similar thing again. We're going to do yet another bend up and down into a pull off. From 14 to 12 on the G string, down to that 14 again on the D string. Then you do a hammer on from 12 to 14 on the G. But this time, you just play straight away the 14th fret of the D string afterwards. So it's really almost identical to the previous lick, but it's got that extra note on the end. So it's going to go... sorry. So you can see, same thing, and I go with my second finger there, just to keep it smooth. If I was to use my third finger, which I just hammered onto, it'd be a bit awkward to get that transition. So it's good to use the second finger there. That's how I do it anyway. Okay, why don't I play the whole thing so far? So it's going to be this. Okay, then after that, what we're going to do is actually bar the 12th fret with our first finger, and we're going to bar over the D and G strings. So you want to be pressing both of those strings down at the same time. It's what we call a double stop on the guitar. And we're going to do a hammer on straight away with your third finger onto that 14th fret of the D string, like this. And when we've done that, we do a quick 2 mute straight away. So you relax your fingers. That's what the X's mean on the tab. You got. And then, as soon as you've done that, you then bar the A and D strings, and you do a similar thing. So you're going to hammer now onto the 14th fret of the A string. But you're going to hold that note, once you've hammered it down, on a little bit longer than the previous part. So it goes... So if I put those two bits together... Okay, it can be hard to get the timing, so I'll do that again a bit slower. And then we're going to finish this part by playing 2 10s on the A string with the first finger. So that little lick is going to sound like this. Okay, so now we've done those first kind of 4 bars. What we're going to do, what I'll do is I'll just show it to you from the start. Bit of a slower pace than the original. So this is what we got so far. The next part starts with a slide up to the 12th fret on the D string. I tend to go 2 frets back, so go from fret 10 with your first finger on the D string and slide up to that 12. But once you've done that, you've got to pick it again and do another hammer on from 12 to 14. on that D string, but then you do 12 to 14 on the G string. So it starts like this. Okay, and then you do yet another bend up and down into a pull off. But can you see it's a similar lick? Well, it's the same lick we did before. We're going to bend up and down on the 14th of the G string. Pull off. Play the 14 on the D. Hammer on from 12 to 14 on the G. And then it's the one that resolved down to the 14th fret of the D string. Okay, so why don't we play what we've got so far there? Okay, and then all we've got to do is yet again, we're going to bar the 12th fret of the middle two strings, D and G, and this time we're just going to hammer on. So play those two strings, hammer down onto that 14 of the D string, and then bring it back to the 12s. So you've got this. And you just do that twice, like this, in a row. Right, so let's cover that last kind of segment from the slide. For this next part, we're going to start on your third finger on fret 12 of the B string. And we're going to play that note. And we're going to slide up to the 17th fret. So I'm picking on the 12, but I'd recommend once you get to that 17, pick it again, okay? So as soon as you slide up to that note, you're going to pick it again, and then you're going to pick it 4 times, okay? Like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll do that again. And once you've done that, you're then going to do this little scale run. Okay, we're going to slow this right down. This is how it goes though. Okay, a really cool run that I happen to use a lot of the time when I'm writing my own songs, or if I'm improvising. It's a cool little scale run to go through. Right, so it's going to start with a pull off from 7, and let's do this really slowly. Pull off from 17 to 15 on the B string. And use your first and third fingers. So you're going to use your third finger on that 17, pull off onto the 15. And we're going to use those 2 fingers for the whole run, by the way. Actually, sorry. When you hit this 16, that's the odd one out. We are going to use your second finger there. So we're going to go pull off, down to the 16 on the G string, and back to the 15 on the B string. So you got this. Okay, but then I would switch to your third finger on the 16 now of the G string. And what we're actually going to do here is pull off with your third finger on to your first finger, which is on 14. And we're going to do that twice. So you notice I'm picking the 16, just pulling my finger off the string and doing that twice. But on the second time, straight after, we want to slide down to the 12. So we've got this. So when you do that second pick, actually, like 3 notes are coming through. So you got, just let it slide down to that 12 after that second pull off. And as soon as you've done that, you're going to pick the 14 of the G and do a pull off from onto the 12. Okay, so what you've got there from that 16. And then you finish that run by just going down to the 14 of the D string and coming back to the 12th fret of the G to resolve that scale run. So let me play that all the way from that 17. It's going to go like this. One more time. That does come up a little bit later as well in the solo. So yeah, so once you've done that though, it's going to do so Then it does a pull off from 14 to 12 again on the G string. Then you've got to bend the 14th fret of the G, upper tone, and then bring it back down to a normal 14. So it's going to be. And once you've done that, you then do a hammer on from 12 to 14 again, and then you play the 12 of the G. So from the pull off, it's going to go. And then you resolve that down to the 14th fret of the D string. So yeah, you got this. But then what we're going to do is start on your first finger on the 12th fret of the A string and do a hammer on from 12 to 14. 12 to 14 again on the D string. And then G, the G note on the 12th fret of the G string. So it goes. Okay, so yeah, from the pull off again, it's going to sound like this. Now this next bit, what you're actually going to do is put your first finger on fret 12 of the B string, and your third, and you can just hold it on there, and your third finger is going to go on the 14th fret of the G, and you're going to pick both of those strings, the G and B strings, and you're going to go. So you'll notice I'm bending with my third and second finger on the G string, and my first finger staying on that B note of the B string, like this. Okay, so once you've done that though, you're going to do a pull off from 14 to 12 on the G. So it's going to go. And then you go from the 14 on the D string. And then you go for the 12 on the G string. So it's going to end this kind of segment with this. Okay, so that's a lot to take in, but I'm going to slowly play through those last few bars. After that, it does a very similar thing to before. It's going to start off with this different thing. We're going to slide from the 14th fret, I'd say, up to the 16 with your second finger on the G string. So 14th fret G string, slide up to the 16. Then you're going to play 15 on the B string with your first finger. And then 17 with your third finger. So it goes like this. Okay, but once you've played those three notes, you do another 4 crotchets, okay, 1 beat notes on the 17, like this. Just like before. So like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then it does exactly the same run as before. So I won't go through it all again. It's going to go like this. Okay, and then again, same kind of thing. So let's play through this. I'll play it slowly. 14 to 12, and then you've got the bend up on the 14. Comes back down to 14 after that. You've got the hammer on from 12 to 14. And back to the 12, all on the G string. And then you've got the 14 of the D string. Then you've got this, but this time it does it a few times. We've got the hammering on part where you do the 12-14 on the A string, 12-14 on the D string, and then 12 on the G. So it's that little... Okay, but we're actually going to do that 3 times. It's going to sound like this. Right, and as soon as you've done that, it does the same thing as before again, where we're going to use your first finger on that B and just hold that on there on the 12th fret of the B string, and you're going to bend the 14th fret of the G string, and we're going to do that twice. and then you pull off on the G string from 14 to 12, down to 14 on the D, and back to 12 on the G. Okay, so if I go through all of that again, yeah, I know I'm not going in as much detail as before because it's very, very similar to what we did before. In fact, most of it is the same. So here we go. I'll play it a bit slower